They don't so much anymore because this is a more popular way of doing it. But high-end stuff like plotters and printers back maybe in the 80s used aircraft cable on stepping motors, several turns of it, and then they had pulley systems with ball bearings in it, and the aircraft cable laced through the system. And you know what I'm talking about. And they were extremely durable, reliable, lightweight, very fast. And so what I'm doing is recreating that setup, and I'm going to use the Kevlar thread as the driving mechanism. So that's what that is. So,
have you seen the PrinterBot Simple? It uses a pulley for one of the axes.
No, part reduction is all.
It's like it's $300.
Well, I'm using really cheap materials. The Kevlar is, I mean, it's kind of exotic, but it's not hugely expensive. So, yeah. So I'm working on the mechanical stuff. I'm putting a lot of hours into it. Drew has some little tiny stepping motors that I'm going to use to drive this stuff.
Yep.
This is the one piece that made it up here because it was in my pocket. This is a pulley. This is a pulley for the cable, the drive cable, and I just put this on yesterday. It'll loosen up as it's turned. The fact that it's a little bit stiff right now is good because it has no in play. It has no in play and no side play. So this will hold tolerance really well when it's loaded. So I cut this on the metal lathe. Actually, I cut a lot of pieces on the metal lathe. So metal lathe authorizations are going on. So this is. I cut this on the lathe too. This is the driving axle. So you'd have the Kevlar wrapped around here and then going over here. So you get gear reduction. So you get an increase in precision. You don't get an increase in accuracy, but you get an increase in precision when you go from small to big. So if I put several turns of Kevlar on here so that it grabs like a capstan, several on here, then I get basically the same thing as a pulley ratio or a gear ratio between these. And what that'll mean is that the travel of this is about 3 turns. So this stepping motor is 200 steps per revolution native, and we'll probably micro-step it at 8 times that, so it'd be about 1,600 steps per revolution. So if I amplify 1,600 steps per revolution out by, what is this, like 5 to 1, it's like, it's really fine, really fine resolution. And I think it's adequate for this. So I'm really excited to get the motors on it and then try putting everything under tension and see how much of what I built binds, and then work that out, and then try driving it around with some G-code out of a BeagleBone Black.
So we can see if we can get those QT examples to compile and run on the BeagleBone Black.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah.
The QT5 was specifically, Nokia specifically put some people on QT5 or Q5 for Raspberry Pi.
Oh, right.
So what I'm working with is Q4, like 4.7 or something like that. That's just because that's what Linux installs. I don't know if Q5 is officially released. But BeagleBone, I think.
Yeah. So we can. So you could actually train it by like going and giving it the path with the mouse, and then have it replay that.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it does that now when I have the right code running.
And then if we, out of an open CV program, it could also generate those G-code lines, right? You're thinking?
Right. There's a couple of different ways that you can have the machine act on G-code. One of them is that it expects there to be another G-code after this one. In other words, that it's not at the end.